Hey guys, so here is a pop quiz for you. What do stall chasers and horizontal stacks have in common? The answer? These kind of staggered stalls. What? Okay, stick with me here. So, for the past couple years, I've been seeing spinners like E6 and Mel and G and Thomas Nevisol putting together really interesting patterns like this that I'm sad to say really just utterly baffled me. I wasn't sure what were making them work, and I wasn't sure how I could apply them to what I was doing. And then yesterday, all of a sudden, a whole bunch of things clicked together for me, and they suddenly made a whole lot more sense. And it also tied together horizontal stacks and stall chasers. Let me show you how. So to start with, we're going to start off with a pattern wherein I'm going to take a split time same direction kind of feel with my poi, and I'm going to make one always stall up and one always stall down, but I'm going to alternate which one's the up one and which one's the down one, in which case I wind up with a pattern that looks like this. And it has a lot in common with a pattern that my friend Conway and Rest Axel have both used on many occasions in the past. And it looks pretty cool in and of itself, right? But what if I switch these rules such that instead of contrasting an up stall against a down stall, I can only do down stalls? Well, I'm going to create a pattern then that results in these kind of staggered stalls. It looks and feels like it should be quarter time, but it's not. It's taking advantage of the fact that when one of my poi goes down to stall, the other poi is still pointed up. So it's a half beat behind the first one, right? That's going to be true throughout the pattern. And it's true whether I do down stalls or whether I do up stalls. Okay, nifty. So if we take the same idea and we apply it to a split time opposites kind of place, and once again, I'm just going to say I'm only allowed to do down stalls here. All of a sudden, we start producing patterns that look rather familiar. This one, for example, looks like it has two stall chasers in it, because it does. See, it turns out that if you set up these kind of staggered stall setups, it produces patterns much like stall chasers, because what a stall chaser is it's a series of staggered stalls. It just so happens that instead of letting one hand hang out while the other one's going through, we're keeping both of them in motion. And it not only does it create interesting stall chaser patterns, but it also creates this really interesting feel where we're contrasting a stall against a loop, for example. Okay, so let's go back a couple steps in split time opposites, and this time we're going to take on that same algorithm that we had with split time same direction, that we're going to contrast, that we're going to switch up each hand, and it's going to change from doing a down stall to an up stall. But now that we're in split time opposites, I'm just going to say, okay, well, both of them are going to do a down stall, and then both of them are going to do an up stall. In which case, this is the pattern that emerges. Cool, huh? So here's what's interesting about this pattern to me. This is one of the patterns that I believe Mel was showing off in his Red Pants video a few years ago. This is also the video that a lot of the concepts for the first round of horizontal stacks came from, such as this one right here, and of course, this one. Now, the eagle-eyed among you may be spotting the fact that this horizontal stack right here, which we now usually perform this way, where we make all the stalls into floats, is actually just this pattern right here, except with all of the stalls replaced by floats. Exact same pattern otherwise. It has the exact same rhythm, the exact same series of points that the hands are reaching, right? Cool. So what else can we get by thinking of patterns this way? Well, being as how we've had that feel so far where it looks as though we're contrasting a stall against a loop, what if we make that a deliberate thing? Let's say I'm going to start off in split opposites again, and this time I'm just going to straight up say I'm going to stall one while the other one keeps moving, and then I'm going to stall the other while the other one keeps moving, stall the other while the other keeps moving, stall it again, and return to home base, in which case I wind up with a pattern that looks like this. which the eagle-eyed among you may be realizing at this point is exactly the same pattern as this. All I've done here is I've compressed the loop of one to make it look like a stall. Which is pretty awesome because it goes through all the different split opposites and split times same direction orientations for us for stalling, right? Cool. So, essentially just a lot broke down in thinking about how we can stagger stalls and contrast a stall against a loop, and it helped connect a whole lot of dots in the process of it. Like, in the grand scheme of things, knowing that this kind of reaction is related to this one and this one makes it really easy to transition between the two, and also to come up with other staggered patterns that maybe we've never seen before. So, yeah, I thought this was interesting, and my apologies to those of you out there for whom all of this stuff was totally obvious, but, you know, what can I say? Sometimes I'm slow on the uptake. Anywho, thank you guys for watching, and have yourselves a great week. Peace.